MC Tone from the 757 spin number. The truth. Back to y'all with another video. In a follow-up video, we're going to talk about James Harden. If you haven't heard, this past month or so, 2 months, James Harden has been wanting a trade from the Houston Rockets. Russell Westbrook, he's already been dealt to the Washington Wizards. He wanted out of there. He didn't like the culture, the fit with James Harden. Even though it had times where it was successful, ultimately didn't end up with a championship. Mike D'Antoni, Daryl Morey been fired. Mike D'Antoni is now one of the assistant coaches for the Brooklyn Nets. And this is a funny thing about this trade is there really a lot of teams who are actually interested in James Harden? You're hearing reports now that he's scuffling with he's having little tensions with teammates. Coach Silas couldn't have a conversation with him. The situation is getting really messy for the Houston Rockets, and of course, I wouldn't be shocked in these next coming days or week or two that he's going to be dealt, and let alone suit up for the Houston Rockets, and that's going to be tough for them. It's for the Houston Rockets. It's more about, can you get the assets back for James Harden, and knowing that you got somebody who's not happy in their situation and everybody knows it. It's going to make it hard for the Houston Rockets to trade him and get a good value for him back. Even though the Lakers gave up a lot for Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, he plays both sides of the floor. Unlike James Harden, he only plays really, even though his defense has gotten better, he does not play both sides. He's not an Anthony Davis impact player on the defensive side of the ball. And one thing about James Harden is, can he stay locked in? Can he stay focused? And sometimes a lot of times in the playoffs, he fell short a lot of times of his moments. So you can't really count on him in clutch situations. So it's just a tough situation. I don't know what you do and who has to trade assets at this point to even want to trade for a James Harden. A interesting team that somebody threw out there was the Denver Nuggets. I thought that was interesting because they have a lot of young pieces. They do have young pieces that are nice and talented, and they do have draft capital. Not draft capital, but they do have some picks that they could give, maybe 2 first-round picks. But would you really want to blow up a young core for a James Harden that seems like he's unhappy right now? I don't know. Especially, does he even want to be in Denver in the first place? And he's out of shape too, so that even makes it tough. So I don't know. This is just a lot of teams, and you hear the Heat. They were pursuing them, and they pulled out. If I was the Heat, I wouldn't have done it neither. Especially when you got a Tyler Hero who's gonna be pretty good. You got a Duncan Robinson. I think he's a very valuable player in today's league. A player who can shoot the ball the way he does. He's not really a defender, but he shows effort to defend, and that's all that matters. And I understand why the Heat want to do it. You have the Brooklyn Nets, but they don't really have the assets to me, unless you're gonna give up a Kyrie Irving or a Kevin Durant. And the way Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving played, I don't think you would do that for a James Harden. I think they're gonna roll with them. You hear the 76ers, and that's going to be the interesting team because I think it really comes down to them. Can they trade James Harden to there? Are you willing to give up Ben Simmons for a James Harden and maybe a few first round picks? I don't know. I like James Harden. I do like Ben Simmons, but I wonder, is he ever going to take an outside shot? And that's going to limit the team overall. And let's see how he fits with a Joel Embiid. And it's going to be tough. I think James Harden and Joel Embiid will probably be a better fit with the 76ers than Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. But Ben Simmons, one thing about Ben Simmons, he plays defense. He's a two-way player. He's a great passer. He's a great defender. But it's just him and Joel, to me, will always not reach their max potential because he basically play the same position. So it's definitely going to be tough. So share your thoughts, comments, like, subscribe. What do you think is going to be a great fit for James Harden? Where could you see James Harden at? So let me know. Like, subscribe if you like the video. Tone out.